Hey guys, remember to like the video and hit subscribe. On defense, percentage of GDP, they have great social programs, but it's all meaningless if Russia starts bombing Poland. In my opinion, the issue is not how much the European Union or the European countries are spending on their defense. The issue is, what is your overwhelming vision for European security? For instance, let's say that the United States were to say, hey, here's what's going to happen. Ukraine's not going to lose any territory. We are going to support them, and we're going to allow them to fight for as long as the people want to fight. But Europe needs to step up their contribution. The United States is going to match what Europe donates. So if you guys want Ukraine to be able to fight, you need to step up your production too. We'll match it, or we'll 1.5x it or 2x it. We support Ukraine. You should support Ukraine too. We all need to feel bonded to this. That would be like a request for more funding and telling them you need to fund more. But there's an overall vision for what it looks like for America to participate in European security. The problem right now is it's like when you've got like two people and they're dating, and one person doesn't want to tell the other one that they're going to break up with them, and the person's like, hey, like we should go hang out, and then the other partner is like, maybe you should get used to like hanging out with just your friends without me being there. Maybe you should get used to more time on your own. And it's like, wait a second, what do you mean by that? That's what the United States is doing right now. The United States is like, maybe Europe, maybe you guys should kick up more in your funding for defense. And I don't know if we want to be involved in this Ukraine shit. And I don't know if we need to be saving you guys all the time. And I don't know how we feel about NATO. And I don't know, like, that's the issue. It's not whether or not European countries are willing to step up and fund their defense. The issue is, what is the United States' place in European security? I don't think that Europe knows. I don't know if the U.S. knows.
This is insane.
These are the PVS 31As.
That is incredible.
One of the best night vision goggles in the world.
It is literally like night and day.
We visited a Navy base in Crane, Indiana to put them to the test in all kinds.
The U.S. also has to deal with China potentially making a move on all of East Asia, and they wouldn't be able to support the European Union in that case. I think when it's defib, right, is when the heart is doing all this wacky shit and all the is pumping and nothing is moving or whatever. This might just be my delusional America brain, but I feel like the United States could literally could move mountains if it wanted to in terms of amazing capabilities. We just don't have the political will to do it. We're just like crazy all over the place. If the United States needed to support Taiwan and Ukraine at the same time, I think that it would be trivial if the U.S. was a combined, like domestically, if we were all on the same page. That's my feeling. If we were like, we need to do this for the sake of the world, for the destiny of all of mankind, Russia and China will not prevail here, where the United States prevailed for the past 30 years, if not for the past 100 years, I guess. Like, I feel like the U.S. could do it. We just don't have the political will to do it. So, do you ever buy that crazy-looking pistol that shoots from a different spot than others? Yeah, it's that alien behind me. I've only shot it once so far, and it jammed every other shot. So, but I fucked with it a little bit, so hopefully next time it doesn't jam as much.
Of darkness.
Now things are gonna get real.
But why can't Europe just beat Russia themselves? I totally agree with supporting Ukraine, but shouldn't Europe just 10x Russia's military? I mean, America is stockfish, but Russia seems like 1100 ELO. I kind of gave this example before with the Middle Eastern families, but I won't get into that analogy anymore. America leading Europe is just so convenient for so many different ways. One, we are untouched by war. Like, what, is Russia going to bomb the United States? It's not going to happen, right? So we exist completely independently. Two, we are the world's leading economy. We are an economic powerhouse, even for things like manufacturing and everything else. People say we can't do it. We can, okay? So our ability to supply is unparalleled. Intelligence, Five Eyes, just the U.S. on its own has more surveillance and intelligence capabilities than any other country on the planet. Our ability to wage war, our ability to utilize and leverage soft power, our ability to lead, all of that is amazing. But there's also, this is my vibe, and from the little I know of European history, okay, so vibing in a little bit from European history, there's also the benefit that America is not part of Europe. And sometimes I wonder, as Europeans feel like they're being, ran by Brussels, or that Germany has too much of a say in things, or we don't have enough of a say in the European Commission, and we don't have enough of a say in how the EU is ran or whatever. America's not part of Europe. So America can dictate things, and even if Europe doesn't like it, what are you going to do? You're kind of going, oh, fuck it. Oh, America said, Whereas if Germany were giving the orders, or if it felt like the power was more concentrated up amongst your European allies, I feel like the vibe is a little bit different there. you know? So America is just in such an amazing position to lead Europe and to provide security for Europe. It's just such a great arrangement. And if that were to drop, the idea of centralizing power into some European institution, that's going to have bigger players involved. Like your Spain's, your France's, your Germany's, like it's just such a rough, it's a rougher situation to be in, I guess. Yeah. EU has never had to come together for something, literally never. World War I, we all pussied. World War II, we all pussied. The Ukraine people were still pussying. Germany took ages to okay the sending of arms to Ukraine. Most were supportive, but there obviously isn't a unified front. Yeah. America's just in such a good, but like, it's not because like, to be clear when you say that, it's not because Europeans are retarded or because Europeans are pussies or whatever. It's just different European countries. In the United States, we tend to just view it all as, oh, it's Europe, which we have the privilege of doing. But in Europe, like the different countries have very strong and very different, this is why it's so funny fighting with Nazis, very strong, very different histories, very different national attitudes in terms of how they see themselves with the rest of the world. They're all very, very, well, most of the big ones are very distinct countries with their own peoples, their own histories, their own national identities, even their own idea of like where they maybe belong in the world. Like the creation of the European Union and them coming together economically, that was a really big deal. Yeah, it's just America just has such a great opportunity to lead from our position economically, militarily, and geographically. So it would be a shame. Like, what does a European Union look like if Germany is actually the de facto leader? I don't know what is the largest economy in Europe, absent the whole European Union. How big is, in 2023, Germany contributed almost 25% of the EU's GDP. Damn. There's a powerhouse. Almost twice the size as Italy and 50% bigger than France. What the even happens in Italy? Italy is 12.4%. What do they do? I have no idea what happens in Italy. I don't know anything about this country other than they take naps at noon. And I guess like they have old buildings there. Destiny, compare populations. Oh, true, I guess. Spot on about European diversity. The idea of a single European army goes back to the 50s, but it doesn't seem tenable because of nationalistic tendencies. This fragmentation means we need leadership. Yeah, I don't ever see there being a successful like European army or like an EU army. Again, this is just like a vibe, kind of a vibe check, but I just don't feel like there's the political will in the European Union to actually. Germany's 84 million, France is 66 million. I said Germany, right? Italy's 59 million. I feel like lately might be a thing. Napoleon did it once and marched into Russia. It could happen again. I don't know all about Napoleon's reign or how any of that worked or what political conditions existed to even make that possible, so.
Now things are gonna get real. My first time looking through night vision goggles.
I'm going to pan these down.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. To make a video about night
Holy shit.
vision goggles, we had to film in the pitch dark, which is really hard because cameras work by focusing photons of light down onto a sensor.
Couldn't being a collection of many smaller states be an advantage over one large country in warfare? No. I know that like conservatives have brainwashed literally everybody across the world now, I guess, or at least the Western world. But no, having one centralized power has huge advantages to it. There are huge disadvantages as well, of course, or there are potential downsides, but the upsides cannot be argued against. Like it's having a centralized huge military, a centralized huge authority. It's just, it's immensely beneficial. The level of integration, what is it that Ryan says that he obsessed with? Multidisciplinary, there's a phrase that he likes or whatever. Combined arms warfare, is that it? Like it's just so nice. Yeah. Did the book cover the German Confederation? In the book, it's a good example of why not having a central authority can be pretty bad. Not much. It just kind of like went over the political feelings at the time, but I still don't really know much about like the German Empire or any of that. It just kind of like touches on the political feelings and thoughts on the ground at the time.
And there the photons knock off electrons, generating a charge, which is converted into a voltage and digitized into ones and zeros for each pixel. Now there's a setting we made use of which is called ISO, which essentially boosts that voltage to make the whole image brighter. For reference, this is what a scene lit only by a single candle looks like at an elevated ISO of 6,400. Now, in a split screen, let me show you what this looks like at an ISO of 64,000. Now you can see a lot more detail in the shadows. This is pretty similar to the level of detail that the human eye can see in low light situations. And now this is what it looks like on our camera's maximum ISO of 409,600. All the dark scenes in this video were shot at this maximum ISO. But look how dark it is compared to just a single candle. This is because the Navy base was located in the middle of nowhere, and we turned off all the street lights.
All right.
Plus, we planned the shoot specifically for a moonless night.
In these conditions, I'm going to try to drive a military tactical vehicle with nothing but night vision goggles on for sight.
Wow.
I hope that's in drive.
But the type of night vision goggles you use is essential.
All affordable night vision goggles work the same way, and they're basically the same as strapping a flash.
There might be a bit more political will for an EU army now that the US is a bit unreliable and the Russian threat is getting more real.